Hello, everybody. We're about a minute early, so we'll just get stuff situated here. Getting ready. Another fine Wednesday. We'll start in another few seconds. We'll start in just another minute. There we go, 1 o'clock. Hello and welcome to another Wednesday Tech PD. Happy to have everybody here. We got about 25 people in the chat, so feel free to throw questions in there if you need. Today we have a couple things we're going to cover, questions that have come up over the last week, as always, and we're going to introduce some new stuff. So starting out, one question that's come up is you might have noticed when you started your Google Meet either today or this last week, and this will be rolling out throughout this week into next, is a little, it will ask you for your audio and video first. And so the idea is you can do a test run to make sure your video is working, to make sure your audio is working. You can even record yourself a little bit and see it, what it looks like, and everything looks good when you're ready to go. So that's the thing that, again, if you don't have it yet, then should be the next week and a half, it should be rolling out to everyone. Next thing that we're going to cover this week is a kind of a cool project we started actually last year, and I'm starting to see it really kick in with some of our students. Let me load it up here. So this is story time. And so what that means is this is, and I'll throw this in the chat as well here. So we have a site. I know last year, at the end of last year, we had a lot of elementary grade teachers who were reading to their students. And so they would read, books like basically live in person, or sometimes we wanted to record them ahead of time. One of the questions that came up a lot was copyright concerns or questions as far as reading, picture books and reading to a class. And we did a little digging. And the way it works, as far as we understand it, is if you are recording for educational purposes, as we are obviously, and not publishing it publicly, and that's the key. So what we've done is we started collecting some of those recordings that people have done, either with picture books or other types of stories, and putting them, organizing in such a place that can be shared with everybody in the district. And that's the key. So if you have an RSU 19 account, Google account, you would be able to sign in and see these. If you don't, then you wouldn't be able to. So that's kind of the marker. That's kind of keeping it from technically being public. The link that I threw in the chat there, it's bit.ly/RSU19 StoryTime, all caps. That will bring you to this page here. And so you'll see this. If you're interested in recording your own, or if you already have recorded your own, you'll find directions right here. This will walk you through the steps of how to record, and also where you would enter in the information so that we could get that recording and organize it and put it in the right place. To share this with your students or yourself, if you want to, share these recordings, up here in the upper right, you'll see it says book list. You can click on that. Actually, I already have it up here. So this will be this tab right here. So this is searchable, and it's also sortable or filter. You can filter this. So I can say I only want levels that are for 3 and 4, and I can click on that. And you'll see some of these in here. You see these images. So here's one, Froggy Goes to Hawaii. This was read by Bree Townsend. You can also look by author. You can also look by reader if you want to. So we'll click on that. This will bring you to a recording. Now this is only shared with RSU 19. So if you go to this outside the district, you wouldn't be able to see it. It would just come up as an error. But I can hit play here. I have it muted here, but here she is reading this book and showing the pictures. Also in there, I know for the junior ROTC program up at the high school level, that's one of their service projects. So we're seeing a lot more of these videos, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you want to share this with your students, they can go on, hit play, and listen to some of their fellow students that they have read to them, which is kind of really cool. Related to that, if you do fill out that process and the directions to record, as I said right here, you go through the steps and add it. One thing I do want to share with you in WeVideo. So most of our students are recording in WeVideo. You can record in other tools, and as I mentioned, those are all right here. Some of these other tools you can use. But if you do record in WeVideo, if I click record right here, so I'm going to use my webcam. I'll just do a quick, simple recording. Okay, everybody, click stop. So it's literally 2 seconds. When you save it, when you render it, okay, so this is the key. I'm going to click finish. Let's say I've gone through and edited it. You don't have to. If I just recorded it, I'm happy with it, I could be done. Or if I wanted to, edit it and add, make sure it's all perfect, I could do that. In the upper right here where it says finish, I'm going to click finish. By default, it records right here into your WeVideo account. So that means you'd have to have WeVideo to be able to see it. Now that works for you because you created it, but if you share with somebody else, they may not. In fact, they probably don't have that. So you want to make sure you select this icon right here, and that's the Google Drive icon. You'll also notice here it says SD or HD, so for standard definition or high definition. In our case, we might as well use the best quality. The only real difference between those two would be the size of the file, which again is fine. We'll have plenty of size there. We have unlimited storage from Google. And also the speed of the rendering. So this will be quicker. It'll take less time to render it than it would be in HD. But again, it's worth doing the HD. If you do all that work for you, you might as well have the best quality that you can. I'm going to click in HD. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click export. Again, this will take a little while. Now, this won't take too long because it was 2 seconds. But if I had a 10-minute video or an hour-long video or whatever, it would take a little while. Once it's completed, here it goes. Again, we're still only half done. That means we've recorded it in WeVideo, we've made whatever changes we want to, and we're all done. We have it. And then the last piece here, and this is the part that it gets a little bit tricky, is you want to make sure it goes to your Google Drive, and that is the link you're going to share. So if you look back here in the directions here, you're going to put your name, you're going to put your email, you're going to put the level of the story. We focused on just pre-K through 4th grade stories. If you have one that's older, of course, we can add that. But we've just been kind of focusing on younger grade ones that have picture books and kind of show something visual. But 100%, if you have something that's older, absolutely we want to add that. I'll ask for the author, the link to the Google Drive folder. And so this, hopefully that's done here. Yep, it's done right now. So that's rendered that video, that Google, that WeVideo video. I'm going to click on that. So I could share this with people, and this would be okay. They could see this because it's technically public. But we really want the link that's going to go to your Google Drive. So if I go to my Google Drive here, it's not working here. I can edit it. Here we go. I can download this file and bring it up in my Google Drive, and that's the link I'm going to copy and paste into this collection folder here. And then by default, it should be just shared with RSU 19. But if it isn't, you may get an email for us just saying, hey, can you please just share it instead of an individual, but with the entire district. And you're done. That's it. So hopefully that will get even more. I know there's a number of different books at the elementary level that pretty much all K-4 students are reading, or a good chunk of them as far as standard books that we're using. Those would be great to start with. And again, I think it's fun to see the ROTC kids at the high school level recording those, and fun for the younger kids to see them reading. All right. That brings us to our next topic here. And this has to do really with the middle school. So this isn't necessarily for everybody, but it's kind of cool to see this, and you'll see why it'll be useful in a second. I'm going to share also this link in the chat. One second. Try that again. Okay. So this is for the middle school library sign out. One of the concerns that they have, of course, is having too many students at one time in the library and tracking that and keeping track of who's there and so forth. So this is currently shared with classroom teachers. And if you don't have access to this, absolutely let us know. In fact, if you request access, I'll just turn it on and you'll have it. Now, this is a shared document. That means that everybody that has access to this, all the teachers, can make changes. So what happens here is you look for your grade level, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. You would start right here to type in your students. So let's say I just start typing the letter A. So A Downing was the first one here. 28, so that's their email address. The reason why we're using the email address is it's unique. Every student has one unique email address. Hopefully you can be able to figure out who that student is by their first initial and last name. So you'll just type that in here. It will only let you type in accurate ones. If I type something in weird, it won't let me do it, basically. It'll say, no, you didn't have a valid email address. I can do a pull down here too if I want to, but if I start typing in letters here, whoops, nobody's RD, so let's see, RG. So there's another student. I'm also going to choose the time. So let's say at 10 o'clock, 10:04 is when that student went down, and this student went down at 11:13. Okay. The reason for that is that the librarians can see, okay, so A Downing got here down at 10:04. It's now 40 minutes later or whatever. Ms. Gordon, as I mentioned, I showed this to her. She's going to, as students fill up and there's too many, need to send them back, she will just erase that student, and that's when they left the library. So if you're looking for them, they should be heading back. If they're not on this list, they should literally be on their way back to your room. This is a pilot. We've tried this out with a couple of 6th grade teachers. It seems to be working really well. I know the librarians have really appreciated being able to see how many students are at once. Hopefully this will help you as teachers to see, oh yeah, we've already got 10, 20, whatever, 30 kids in the library. Probably not a good time to send out another one or whatever. We absolutely, of course, can make adjustments as we go forward. If it's like, okay, we need to have more or less options here. But as this works right now, you will go to bit.ly/19library. And again, that link is in the chat. That will bring you to this page. If you don't have editing access, that means just email me or let me know. I try to give it to all the staff, and I probably missed somebody, I'm sure. But and if ed techs want access to it, it's fine with me if it's fine with everybody else. But then you just come in here, you choose your students as I go through here, and you'd also see not only from across the school, but also even in the same grade level, right? So I can see, okay, now I've got 3 students from 6th grade, and it's, let's see, 10 p.m. So maybe this isn't the best time to send more if I need to or whatever. And when you're done, they will delete them. So we're going to try this out. Hopefully this will work for everybody. If you have any suggestions or updates or questions, absolutely please let me know, and we will do our best to fix those. So I'm just going to delete these right now so we clear this out for tomorrow. We're ready to go. All right, the last thing I'm going to share today, kind of as a topic, has to do with a project they're working in 6th grade, but also something that I've been asked other times, so we can use this. I know in social studies right now, so this is Keith's class, Mr. Kelly's class. They're doing newsletters, and they're doing it with Google Docs to show about their colonies. They're establishing colonies. So this is one student. They're doing kind of a newsletter form, which is cool, which is great. One drawback of doing it in docs in this situation is if I do add a picture or if I want to move one around, if any of you guys have tried to use a Google Doc as a desktop publishing tool. Now, just so you know, this is a copy. This is not the student's real work. But if I move this around, if I grab this, you'll see as it starts moving all kinds of stuff around the page. So it makes the layout sometimes kind of difficult because things will kind of move and get knocked around. So an alternative to basically the same process, same project, but just another tool to do the same thing, is you can use slides. And we have talked about this. So if I do a new slideshow here, just a new blank one. But I'm going to give you a template in a second to show you how this would work also as a newsletter form. So I'm going to click, I'm just a regular Google slide. I click File, Page Setup. I'm going to change this to that custom. So we have it like a regular vertical piece of paper. So 8.5 by 11 inches here. So here we go. Cool. So now I have a regular piece of paper. And the difference being, if I go back to my link over here, I'm just going to copy some of this information here. These I can move around, kind of free float, right? So if I do want to have a title here, I can grab this title and we'll just paste this in here. So here's my same text as I had before. But I do have that ability to kind of free float around without kind of interacting with each other. Another kind of cool thing here, if I wanted to use this image, but I wanted to kind of crop it and have it shaped certain ways, when I click on it once, you'll notice that there's different tools up here at the top that appear. A couple different things I can do. If I have format options here, I can adjust, the contrast and the brightness, that kind of stuff if I need to. I can also, size recolor. If I want to change the color themes of it, so let's say I do want it black and white because I want this a little bit more authentic. That's probably too black and white. Let's try this one here. That's kind of cool. So maybe it's a picture. And finally, I can crop it as well. So if I use this tool right up here, I can use shapes and we'll do a little crop around. Looks a little bit more like a photograph from long ago. Finally, if I wanted to kind of change the background as well to make it look a little bit more newslettery. So this is a template that I will share with the chat here. Just copy and paste that right in there. And so if you open this up, if you click on that link, it'll pull you up to here, and I can click Use Template, and it will give me a copy of that blank one. Now, you don't have to use the stuff that comes with it. This just has some stuff in it. It has kind of a cool background, whatever. But you can do all that yourself. You're going to change this and make this as a template and give this to your students. Obviously, if you give this to them as through Google Classroom, you'll just be able to give them as a template, and they'll just make copies of it and go from there. If you did want to use this as something, let's say you want them to make a weekly newsletter or bi-weekly newsletter, and you don't want to have to resend it every time. One option you can do is when I click share, I need to make this public. So I'm going to change the get link right here from restricted, and I'm going to change that to public. So I just change that from RSU 19 and to anyone with a link. Now I'm going to copy this link. So that link up at the top here now, I just paste it in here. Anything from the slash edit over. So if you give you this big long crazy link, and on the right side I will say slash, it will say the word edit. If I change that with the word copy, that link I could give to them. And that means that basically if they click on that copy, they're automatically going to be able to take their own version of it. Alternatively, if I put in here slash template slash preview, that's going to look something like this. And the benefit of this is they can actually see what they're looking at. Oh, okay, this is the template I want. You may have a number of different types of documents. It could be a doc, it could be a slide, it could be a sheet, it could be forms, anything in the Google Suite. And if you change that end, that slash edit with slash template preview, it will look like this. It will show them what it is, and they can use that template, basically make a copy of it to use for whatever you need. Now, a couple caveats with this. One, you need to make that public. If it's still private, it's its own document, they won't see it, basically, if they click on the link. So you have to make that public. That doesn't mean they can edit your template, just means they can take a copy of it. Also, when you run this through Google Classroom, it automatically shares it with them. So you have access to it and they do. If you don't run it through Google Classroom, you just have the copy of it, they would still have to share it back with you. So again, they may not want to do it that way. That's up to you how you want to manage it. It's kind of pros and cons of each method. The benefit of that is that, the other option here, of course, is they could take that original one. Let me just jump back over here to this copy. And let's say you just want to keep adding different days. They could just basically copy and paste the actual header there. And maybe each one of these is a different day. So next week, we're going to copy and paste it and add the new one. This would have text boxes already in here, so they could just type into it, update it. But it does make it a lot easier to kind of interface that text and imaging kind of on top of each other, even if you're not going to print it out. You don't necessarily have to print that out. So that was using kind of as slides as a desktop publisher. I know we've talked about this before, but it's been a little while we revisited, and I see more people are using it. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to share. Any questions about that? I think we're good. I don't see any in the chat. So the final thing I was going to share today, I'll actually keep this up, this little newsletter up for what we're going to use here. So if I had that video, this is one other tool, and this might be for a little bit older students than kind of the youngest ones, but I think this is kind of cool. So this was that video I had earlier. I just waved, like, I don't know, a minute ago, and I clicked finish. And I had it here. I put it in my Google Drive, and then I'm going to download it directly. So let me go to exports here. Here it is. In WeVideo, I can download it as its own video file. Okay, so we just downloaded here. I think I called it Wave. There's another tool. This is kind of extra credit. There's another tool called Unscreen. I believe it's unscreen.com. And again, it's just kind of an add-on. I wouldn't use this every day, but it's kind of fun. So basically, it's a free tool. Now, you can pay for higher quality levels, but for what we're using for it, this would be fine. What it does is it uses machine learning to take a video of a person, and it removes their background. Okay, well, what do I want that? So let's say I clicked Upload Clip here. I go find that video that I just created. Right here, here's the wave. We'll open it up. I'm going to upload it. Now, this only allows you 5 seconds for the free version, but you can see here for a second. Okay, so what it did is actually I can put backgrounds here if I wanted to, but it took my video I just did, and it used machine learning to kind of cut around me. Cool. Well, why would I need that? Who cares? Well, one option, I'm going to keep it as transparent for a second. If I download that on the right side here, I'm going to click the little pull down. I'm going to download it as an animated GIF. So why I would want to do that is I could then bring that into slideshows. Some of you on the high school side might have noticed as you're watching the daily slideshow that goes through, the A day, B day kind of up on the screen, you might see some video clips from the games, from the basketball games. We have students that are going through, taking the YouTube videos, taking a little 5-second, maybe 10-second clip of a really good shot, or maybe it was a great drive or something that's kind of a highlight, and then adding that to the slideshow. And this is one way to do that. I now have my little animated GIF down here. So if I go to my slideshow here, I'm just going to click on it, show it. I'm just going to drag it in. So here's that animated GIF. I could just drag it in here. And here it is in my video. Now you notice here, as I see my hand here, it didn't come out great So I probably was moving too much in that situation. But just by a fun tool, you might want your students to use this. And again, I use it as a with a transparent background, but they have a bunch of different ones. If I want there, here I am ice skating. Here's is a train. Here's a psychedelic one, whatever. All kinds of crazy stuff here. So again, just a fun tool if it's something that you wanted to share with your kids and they could use in their projects. And that was unscreen.com. All right. So I think with that, stop presenting. We're a little bit early today. We got about 10 more minutes, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to throw them out there. If anybody has anything, we've covered a lot of ground in this one. Yeah. Everybody's good. We had a happy snow day yesterday, I hope. All right, guys, with that, we'll wrap it up. I think this was a short one, but I think we covered a lot of ground. If you have any questions, as always, send them our way. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.